Okay, so next up we have Williams, 9th place overall in the Constructors Championship. It's fair to say, if you just take it on a points basis, that Williams have been disappointing this year. You know, it really seemed in 2023 that they could have kicked on and improved, but I think it's fair to say that that car has underperformed compared to what we hoped it was going to be. Just 4 points on the board for Williams, thanks to a pair of 9th place finishes by Alex Albon, one in Monaco and the other one during the British Grand Prix as well. The car does seem decent in some weekends when, you know, you've got free practice and they do some good times. It also seems good when you've got, you know, a relatively high speed track. That seems to be where Williams do better. You know, Albon was in the window to be able to get some points at places like Belgium, but unfortunately it's just not worked out for them. This season's been a real disappointment, and I think the main takeaway they're going to have is, you know, Australia was embarrassing for them. Yes, Albon managed to get 11th place in Sargeant's car, but the fact that they didn't have spare parts to repair the car after Albon crashed it in practice because of organisational issues, things like having Microsoft Excel showing where their parts are, using it as kind of an inventory management, you know, that shows how much of an uphill task James Vowles has got to turn around Williams' fortunes. And a little bit like Sauber, who I just reviewed as well, you know, their real optimism comes for next year. They've got Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz in the car, which is an incredible driver pairing. A real coup for Sainz to drop down the grid and go to Williams. But the fact remains is that Williams have ultimately disappointed. They have come close on scoring points on a number of occasions. Like I said, you know, Logan Sargeant, he got 11th place at Silverstone. It could have been a double points finish for Williams there. Albon managed to get 11th place at Saudi Arabia and Australia too. They've just been kind of nearly there. Albon dragging that car up as far as it can go, but even his skills are not enough, it seems, this season to be able to score the odd point and get up to where they were in the championship. So they have ultimately disappointed. They have dropped down the grid. It's a massive task for them to catch even Alpine. I think at this stage, I just don't see it. I feel like Ocon and Gasly are scoring points consistently enough just to ward off that threat. And catching the likes of Red RB and Haas absolutely out of the question. So I feel like it's been disappointing for Williams overall. For the two drivers, I mean, Albon has absolutely destroyed Sargeant this season, as you'd kind of expect, to be fair. Although interestingly, Sargeant's sprint record is better. He's managed to beat him twice out of the 3 sprints, but overall in the Grand Prix, where the real points are scored, a 10-2 advantage for Alex Albon. It's unbelievable, really, how much of a better driver he is. The disparity between those two is huge, and that's part of the reason why they've gone for Carlos Sainz next year. You know, I can't see Logan Sargeant remaining in Formula 1 next year. I don't see a team to take a risk on him. But my overall grades for Williams, I'm giving Williams a D because they have been disappointing. You can't give them a C because they've not met expectations. Giving them an E, I think, is a little harsh because I think operationally, aside from Australia, operationally, tactics-wise and strategy-wise, they've not done too bad of a job. But I think a D is probably fair for them. Albon I've given a B because I feel like he has overperformed in that car at times. Not an A. I mean, last year I would have given him an A, to be honest, but this year I don't think he's quite been on that level. He's not scored points consistently enough to warrant that. Sargeant I've given an E because I think an F would be too much. I think an F should be reserved for someone who has been fired. And I feel like he would have been fired by now in favour of Antonelli. If it was going to happen, it would have been announced by now. So, although when this video goes out, that might have changed. You never know. Formula 1's a very fast-paced environment. I think an E is absolutely fair. The guy has not scored any points. His team has scored all the points and is carrying that team. Is the only reason why they are above Sauber in the Constructors Championship. So yeah, there we go, guys. Those are my thoughts on Williams. A D overall. Yeah, let's move on to the next one.